How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video in our low poly character modeling series. Today we're going to look at the foot. This one shouldn't take too long. This one is actually based off a video from another YouTuber called Annetta V. Annetta has a lot of great tutorials up there and also has a link to the photo reference we're going to use to model our foot against. So I suggest that you check out her channel. There's lots of good stuff on there. This video, I'm including it just so we have a whole series on my own channel. I'll make a few tweaks from her video, but it mostly follows the same way. So just wanted to give her a wee shout out because a lot of these techniques are actually hers. We are going to use some picture references for this to model the foot against. As I say, you can download those from that YouTube channel I just linked. And all we have to do to get those into 3D Studio Max is to start with a plane. In this case, I'm going to make it a square. Let's just make that 20 by 20. And all we have to do is drag the foot reference onto that and it will appear. So if we have a little look at that, you may just want to make sure that up here, this will probably say standard or high quality to begin with. I would set that to high quality and then just disable shadows and disable ambient occlusion, just so that as we rotate around the scene we can see these clearly and we get nice detail on that. As you can see here, I already have one set up. This is how I want you to set it up. We're going to have the top view, we're going to have the side view, and we're going to have this front view, and we're going to model against all three of those. We're actually going to make use of all of our viewports today. So in each one, we're going to set this one to the front. We'll press F3 to reveal that on screen. We are going to go to this one, press F3, and you'll see here these are actually just set to the standard definition and they come out a bit pixely. So again, each one of these, high quality. We shouldn't need to mess with the shadows. In fact, we do there. You can see the shadows coming in this left view. So let's just go high quality, lighten and shadows, turn off those shadows, and then we see everything clearly. I'll just turn off that ambient occlusion as well there in case it does come on. This will just help us to see everything. And if I need to change these ones, I'll go back and do that. I'm not going to make commentary on everything in this video. I'll just point out any wee key aspects that are important. Let me just line this guy up a bit better. There we are. So using this reference, just try and line these red lines up as best you can. The three images don't match perfectly well together, but they are close enough. We're going to start with a cylinder. Just draw it out over the ankle. Press F4 on our keyboard to see our little wireframe. Height and radius don't really matter. We're going to adjust the individual verts. We're going to have two height segments. We're going to leave cap segments at 1 and set sides to 8. So from here we can convert this to an editable poly. And let's just line this up in our different views. So this one will be using the left view. You can see we can't actually see the image behind that. So let's hit Alt X, and that'll make it semi-transparent. So we are back here. We'll line that up just with the heel there. And this view, again, we need to turn those shadows off. So high quality, but shadows and ambient occlusion can be turned off. That's okay there. And this one, yeah, that's not too bad. So do we have that ambient occlusion turned off everywhere? Yeah, okay. So we should be able to see through now. And we're going to go first of all to the vertex mode. We'll press F4 in each of these modes just so we can see the frames. Top view here, we're going to select these guys and these guys. Just bring them forward, flatten those out a little bit. And we'll scale them up. And we can, we'll not adjust these yet, we'll get the basic shape. So as I say, I'll not comment on everything. If you followed my tutorials by now, you should be able to understand most of what I'm doing. And I will point out anything particularly important as we go, or anything new or strange and wonderful. So just follow along with what I am doing here. Mainly just trying to make sure that shape is mostly correct. We will extrude again, and we never want these extrusions to come too far down the foot. But you'll notice how we are going between these 4 different views each time. When I get to here, I've got 2 extrusions out. What I really want to do now is start to control the shape of that foot a bit more. Before I add too much detail, I've deleted that little top poly there, we don't need that. And now I am going to start taking some of these sides and just lowering them in a bit. Just to create that general roundness of the foot. Don't forget we can also bring a few of these back now that we've extruded these, get that roundness of the ankle. And if we zoom in here on top, it's kind of hard to see, we're getting this weird dippling effect here. I'm not sure why that's doing, probably the high quality. I'll just move some of these in. Yeah, it seems to be taking a few seconds just before it gives us that proper clear view. I'm sure if I hooked through the settings I could figure out what was doing that, but we'll just continue on. I'll just balance out some of these lines here. And the important thing is, as you go around, just get a little look and just make sure all the lines are kind of flowing nicely. Doesn't really look too foot shaped at the minute, but we will get there. I'm not too worried about the bottom here just yet. We'll add a bit more detail in there later on. So at the minute we have 2 squares here at the front, but we have 5 toes. So we're going to do a little bit of a strange geometry kung fu. We're going to turn these 2 into 4 and then pull the big toe in from the side. It'll make sense when I show you that. So what I want you to do is we will subdivide these into 4. So we'll select one edge, choose ring, and that will choose from the top here. Oops. In fact, you know what, before we move on, we can actually take these. You can see they're getting in my way. We can take these, and if I just go back to top level, we can slide these all the way out of the way here, and they'll still remain constant in the other viewports where they're more useful to us. Just if we move these away from here now, it means we can get a better look around the foot without those getting in the way. So our next thing we need to do, add more geometry here. In fact, I'm going to just Alt-X this once more so we can get a better look at the foot. We'll go to edge mode, and we will ring this, and it'll go all the way to the bottom there, all the way to the top. We're just going to hit connect, and that'll add an extra line of geometry in there. Same thing here. We'll just select one of these edges, hit ring, get all the way from top to bottom, and then hit connect. That'll bring it to the top. Now, one thing to be aware of here that we'll need to fix later on, we started with 8 edges here along the top. We now have 10. When we connect this to our low poly torso that I've made in another video, this needs to be made back to 8 again, so it can just be welded one edge to one edge. But that's we'll solve that later on. Let's just finish fixing the bottom here. We are going to use our cut tool now. So if you don't have your ribbon, this little white arrow here, click it to show the modeling ribbon. We have the cut option, and pay careful attention to the cursor. We want to go from vertex to vertex, and we can right click just to deactivate it, and then we're going to go from this vertex down to the middle to the opposite vertex. And now we're just going to basically continue these two lines around and back on themselves. So we'll take from here to here, and then we're going to create this extra wee set of geometry all the way around. And if I go to my vertex mode, you'll see where I've got those vertexes. These are quads. We just then need to split these weird 6-sided polys just to make everything quads again. There we go. So our vertex may be a little bit uneven. Let's deactivate cut mode, and we can just sort of shimmy some of these about a wee bit, just even them out. Maybe balance these in just a little bit. Just like so. Okay, then on the top we want to condense this back down to 8 and maybe add a little bit more detail. So here's what we'll do. We'll get our edge mode, and we are going to select all of these edges, so right the way around, and we're going to hit connect. And once more with our cut tool, we will connect from here to here. Right click to deactivate that cut tool, and then start again from here to here, and get this shape. Now this will leave us with 2 triangles here and here, but we can fix that very easy. Once more with the cut tool, we have four polys on the top surface now, so we're going to go from this inside corner to outside upper corner, and do the same on the other side, inside to upper outside. Get these extra couple of lines. Now we are left with 3 triangles. So it looks like we've made the problem worse, but we can in actual fact now just go to our edge mode, select this one, the original edge there, hit Control Backspace, we'll get rid of that, and this one, Control Backspace, we'll get rid of that, and we'll do the same on the other side. This one, Control Backspace, and this one, Control Backspace. And now what we're left with is quads all the way around, and we are back to having those 8 edges on top. So at this point, it's worth just going back, looking at some of those vertices. With those extra polys we have in there, we can now even out things a little bit further. And get that slope of the foot. Do I bring this down too much, because it will have to match this image here. Maybe bring that out a little bit more for the big toe. Bring this one out a little bit more too. Let me just check if I actually switched to the correct view. Yes, I have. I'm always scared I'll start a video and leave it on the title screen. This isn't too bad. What we can do now with that extra geometry at the bottom, we can sort of round out this foot a little bit. So we will select maybe this edge, just go all the way around the bottom until we get to the arch of the foot, and we're just going to raise these up a little bit, and that'll help you round out that foot. Then maybe this edge and the opposite edge, we'll just lift them up slightly. They don't need to be lifted up just quite as much. Let's see, how's that looking? That's not looking too bad. Maybe a little bit chunky on the ankle here. So we'll just take these, just move them in ever so slightly. Just to define a bit more shape. Let's see how we're looking on top. Not too bad. Maybe this little line can be tweaked down a wee bit, just to keep that roundness. Yeah, fairly happy with that. I'll maybe just straighten this wee line up as well. Yes, so that's all very good. Now we'll start to work on making the toes. So once more, we're going to extrude these little guys here. And we will extrude once. Let me see if I can get this distance correct. Yeah, that's not too bad. Notice how we're not coming right down to the toes just yet. We're still going to stay a little bit short, a little bit shy of that. And then in my top view, I want to keep these lines here as vertically aligned as I can, so that I can just start to give them a wee bit more angle similar to those toes. So I'm going to start pulling these back a little bit. Just like this. I'll bring these top ones up. Again, just trying to match the shape of that foot. Maybe bring you down and in a little bit as well. And once more, we'll extrude, this time bringing it right up to the sort of the beginning of those toes. Now here's where it gets a little bit awkward. We want these two to be the small toe, these two the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and so on. And then these polys will actually become the big toe. So we're going to twist it a little bit and then fix the geometry. Let's go just back to our viewport there. So this works best if we go to our top view right now. And I might Alt X this again just so we can see my verts. These ones go to the third toe, and these ones go to the between the fourth toe and the big toe, which means that these guys come forward and with a little bit of rearranging and tidying up. Again, just keep everything vertically aligned here. You might need to come down to these other views. We will get this weird large polygon. We can fix that later. But at this point, I'll just try to even out some of these curves a little bit. Just make everything flow just a little bit better. Along the foot. If you imagine the bones inside the foot flowing nicely, let's just move some of these. There we are. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe just shift this one out a bit more, even that. I'll maybe bring this one forward. Just as you look at this, you'll be continually adjusting things. On the side here, we can even make some more adjustments when we add it in that extra geometry. That gives us a little bit more room to play with. There we go. Don't forget as well, we have the heights of the toes. So let's bring all of this down a little bit. And even that middle row as well, bring it down. This is the tedious part, just making these little fine tunes and adjustments. There we are. I am fairly happy with that. I'll maybe just bring this in a little bit tighter for that little tool. Whoops. A little bit tighter, a little bit taller. We could spend ages fine tuning this. After we're done here, we might want to go around just with the soften and relax tools, for example. Just relax out all these verts. But I think that is more or less good enough for what I need. Without going into specifics, just kind of eyeball it, look at foot, look at your references, and even things out. At this point, first of all, we'll just hit save. We haven't saved in a while, so save your file. And now we want to start making those tools. So what I think I'll do is I will model one tool and then pause the video, model the rest. The 5 tools are all going to be made the same way. We're going to select each of these little sets of 2. We're going to use the inset tool, click the little settings box. That's far too big, so let's... Oh, this is very sensitive. And we'll just make something like that. Good thing is when we set one, the others should all come along with it. They're the same size. Inset, inset, inset. There we go. And with all of these, we can just move them out a little bit, just like that. And we may just need to keep an eye on them here and orient them the right way. So bring these ones down a little bit more. And we'll maybe square some of these off. Make them face forward a little bit more. So this here is very, very angled. Let's just straighten them up so that those polygons are kind of facing the direction of the tools. And then if they're looking very square and boxy, we'll just angle them off just a little bit. This mouse is so sensitive sometimes. I'll just Alt X, might make it a bit easier to see. So you can see we'll end up with these 6-sided 2-poly stumps that the tools are coming out of, and I just want to make them less square, just more rounded out. At this point, we've kind of done all the hard geometry of the foot. It's just about finishing it off. Let's maybe just even out some of these lines a wee bit here. Try and have this consistently going across the whole way. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just try and avoid having, say, the random lines kind of jagging up like that or anything. Keep them all nice and straight if you can. Nearly done. There we go. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. So like I say, I'm going to show you maybe one tool here, then I'll pause the video and do the rest. If you just repeat those same steps, that's all you need to do. I'll start with the big tool here. And getting a little look at the top and my perspective view. I'm going to extrude once more. Just a little bit is fine. Go to your vertex mode, and we can start to stretch these into position. I'll start to try and match that shape a little better. Maybe the bottoms of our toes can come down a bit here. I'm just looking. And we'll have a little fine tune of that later on. That's not too bad. Maybe bring this middle line down just a little to match them in a bit better. There we are. Extrude these again. And just with each extrusion, now where it will get a bit odd is try not to cram these toes too tight together so that we can easily animate them. What's better to do is actually leave them separated a wee bit. Then when we rig or skeleton, if you're doing individual toes, at that point you can set the default animation to squeeze the toes together. So just like you would have an open mouth on a face, we'll have splayed toes, which can then be put into a more natural pose afterwards. I will show you exactly what I mean when we have them all modeled. I think one final extrusion there should do. Let's just pull this all the way out to the front here. Just try and match that shape a little bit. So we've got 3 extrusions per toe. Just Alt X again. We're getting a little bit distorted here. I think we lost a vert. Just be careful you don't lose any verts there. That's not too bad. Straight up this one. And just round out those forms a wee bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. I can live with that. That's fine. Maybe just that little bit for the ball of the foot. Bring that down a little bit. Okay, so there's the big toe. As I say, we're going to repeat that process for the other 4 toes. So I'm just going to pause the video here, make these 4 toes, and then we'll come back. So welcome back, guys. I've finished doing the 5 toes here. It did take about 10 or 15 minutes just to go around and tweak them and perfect them, and I could probably spend even longer just fine tuning them, getting the wee gaps perfectly correct. It will take time. The geometry is simple enough to get correct, and then making it look right is where you really spend all your time. Just make sure the 5 toes kind of curl back around this curve. Make sure they slope down and forward as they go, and then just go around your foot and just start adjusting maybe just individual vertices to make sure all of your lines are smooth and you've got that nice sort of downward curve from the front there. That's more or less everything on the foot. There's just one wee last thing I want to fix, which is the big polygons that we have here. So these are a bit untidy looking. Let's tidy those up. I'm just going to use my cut tool, and I'm going to cut from, let me see, what will it do? From here to here, down to the opposite poly on the bottom side, and then I'm going to cut from this little link here across and down. Again, just trying to make sure that cursor shows me the correct what I'm going to do. Yeah, get cut there. So we should end up with these new lines. Just cut across that big polygon and like this through this sort of triangle line that was formed. If we go through here, it'll give us a couple of extra edge loops, and then all we need to do is delete this little chunk here, control backspace to get rid of that, and this little chunk on top, control backspace to get rid of that, and that leaves us with nice quads everywhere. The other thing I can maybe do, just select a few of these, get those curves working a bit nicer, maybe here as well. It's not the most important thing in the world. It might just make those polys flow a little bit. And as we move these, check your other angles, just make sure they're not creating any weird lumps and bumps. So might need to move this up a little bit more in response. With that wee bit of extra geometry that we've created there, we can probably raise a few wee polys, maybe move a few of these back, soften things out. Maybe soften these up a little bit, that ball of the foot. And that's looking pretty good. Bring these back a little bit just to even them out. Try and even out your geometry as best you can, if you have it. Oh, I've just spotted a little error here. I didn't actually connect that perfectly. That's okay. I'll just select both of those little verts there. And I'll just select my weld tool and increase the threshold. That'll increase it. That'll just collapse those out in one point. So that's all good. That is me more or less done with this foot. A couple of wee issues we might find if we turn on F4. Got this very faceted look. So it's kind of smooth here. Oh, where have we gone? It's kind of smooth here at the back and then very faceted. That's with all those extrudes. God damn it. With all those extrudes that we've done, it's giving that faceted look. So how we fix that? We're just going to select everything, clear all smoothing groups, and then just apply the same smoothing group. And there we go. That's nice and smooth. I think we'll leave that there for today. In the other videos, we'll look at how to connect these up. Oh, actually, no, one more thing we'll do. We'll just add in some ankles here. We'll add in the ankles. And how we're going to do that, we are going to just select border, that'll be better. Border mode, hold shift to move that up, create some extra geometry. So this would be the part that kind of connects to the leg. And the ankles are quite easy. What we are going to do is just use our cut tool. We are going to create a little, let me see, get the right side here. A little diamond here. Like so. I'll just show the verts, make it easier to see. And then we connect each of these to the surrounding corners. Then all we need to do is take that central vertex, deactivate cut mode, and pull it out a little bit. There we are, a nice angle. That looks pretty good. And we'll do the same on the other side to create the other ankle. I'll not show you that, it's just the exact same process. I think we'll call that done for this video today. Again, just continue to fine tune, make a few wee adjustments to the shape, maybe pull in for that Achilles tendon. But there we go, that's a pretty good foot. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next part of the series. Cheers, guys.